Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadroo.com. With your morning orders, these your sip of chaga coffee. The battle for the 200-day moving average continues. Silver holding its own right around, what's that, 24.80 right now. Ridiculous valuation, by the way. If there was no COMEX, silver would be in the thousands of dollars by far and would be probably the number one coveted asset on the planet. But there is a CRIMEX. There is a government in place that assists in the rigging of the markets. There's a Federal Reserve that assists in the rigging of the markets. There's an OCC that just came out with the second quarter derivatives that shows who is rigging these markets, the silver market. And I'll get to that in a second. The mini battles for the 200-day moving average, which is coming down slowly. It's at $25.29, 29.7. So it keeps, over time, if it doesn't go up over the 200-day moving average, the moving average keeps coming down. Who knows what will happen? I know it's a ridiculous game. Tech traders are food for the slaughter when it comes to the criminal banksters. They can set the price of silver to negative 40 like they did in oil. Who went to jail for that, by the way? Oh, it's free markets, Bix. You don't understand. Fuck you. Free markets were dead in America when they invented the CRIMEX, especially when they invented the CFTC. Back in there was a different version. Back in 73, 74, they invented the CFTC to run cover for the crimes because we went off the gold standard. And going off the gold standard means going from a pegged currency to a floating currency, floating against other fiat money. And how is that done? On the foreign exchange markets, which are all derivative markets. And yes, the derivative markets trade thousands of times the underlying asset, which is the dollar. Thousands of times the dollar is traded on the derivative of the dollar markets. It is a fucking con created by Alan Greenspan with his computer programs in the 70s, and Arthur Burns carried it on. He's the guy who really championed the floating currencies. And that's a difficult rig because you're dealing with every single country on the world, and you might have to go to war just to keep that rig going, and that's what the United States has done. I'm so embarrassed by my country. Not by my country, by what the leaders of our country did. The economic leaders, the political leaders, they all belong in jail. And not a U.S. jail, a world jail, or maybe even a universe jail. Maybe their souls belong in jail. There's a soul jail. Anyway, the crimes go on, the futures, the volumes. Still, last Wednesday was the big day. Every single ounce of silver that was mined during the entire all of last year was traded on last Wednesday in the futures and options market. Just a joke. CFTC, Rustin Benham, you are a freaking criminal. You need to go to jail. We're sitting at about close to 60,000 contracts open, 300 million ounces. A couple more trading days left. It'll get down to something small. Remember, it's just the banks that are trading in this market. Just the criminal market riggers. Everything else is ridiculous. There is no big buyer. There is over at SLV, which is a beautiful place. But that'll get shut down. With the banks crash, good luck getting your silver ass out of SLV. It won't happen. They will confiscate it. And who holds it? He who holds it owns it. JPMorgan, of course. So let's talk about JPMorgan. JPMorgan runs all the trades through their customers now because the DOJ said you can't rig the markets anymore. Last December, I think it was November, December timeframe. And oh, by the way, the DOJ and the CFTC, but you can rig it if you run through your like Bank of America and Citibank as your customers. Then you can rig it. Then we can continue our game. So that's what was done. You can see who the silver rigger is by going to the CME delivery page. Here's all the names and who are the big players right here. Goldman Sachs had one bad month. March delivery, they had to deliver almost 15 million ounces of silver. That's why Jeff Curry came on saying, oh, no, there's no problem in the silver market. Goldman got caught out. They're not a big player, but they were at that moment, and they got screwed. Someone took them out. The big players these are the big criminals, HSBC, obviously. This is for their house account, too. All I'm looking at is the amount of silver deliveries over the year, and you know who the criminals are, and they collude with each other. HSBC, Wells Fargo became a lot more active this year. Who knows what's going on with that, with their house account. Scotia Capital, they said they were getting out of the business, but it looks like they haven't. I mean, the vast majority is gone, but they're still dealing in little contracts here. They might have problems extracting themselves. I don't know. But I don't think they're a big player anymore. The bigger player is Bank of America's house account. Look at that thing freaking explode. Taking delivery of all this silver. And when they do that, what do? Listen to what Jeff Curry said. They put it into SLV and they hedge it. So, and Ted Butler saying BofA also has silver leases. How does he know? It's in the data. It's in the OCC data. Just look at the OCC data. This is for, right here is December. So this is where Bank of America was in December with their silver shorts and leases. $8 billion, which is ridiculous. There's no reason Bank of America needs that kind of a exposure to silver. This is mostly silver, precious metals from the OCC. They went from 8 billion to, drumroll please, 10. So they added $2 billion worth of silver leases, which is a hell of a lot of silver. And then Citibank did the same thing. Back in December, they were at 9.8, and now they are at 12.8. So they added, that's 3, 10, 11, 12, $3 billion worth. So extra $5 billion worth of silver derivatives were added. Why? Does the CFTC ever ask the question why? I mean, nothing much has changed in the real silver market. You know, it's not like we're mining massive billions and billions of dollars worth of silver more than we did last year, the year before. That's not how it happens. There's no reason for Citibank and Bank of America together to add $5 billion worth of silver derivatives to their book unless it's to rig the prices. And notice they're all short-term, less than 1 year maturity. Billions of dollars of silver. Are they the ones, is Citibank and Bank of America the ones that are supplying SLV with silver and then hedging it, and the supply is coming from JPMorgan's warehouse where JPMorgan is leasing it? So basically Bank of America and Citibank have a double short on the silver, because once it goes into SLV, good night. That is not your silver anymore. It's the shareholders of SLV. It is not BlackRock. It is the shareholders of SLV that control it. But then again, when the banks collapse, you're not going to get your silver out of SLV. I'm sorry. That's laughable. They'll call it force majeure, and if anything, you'll get a couple piddly dollars. Probably you won't get anything. Keep your silver in your own possession, please. I was looking over the old JPMorgan annual report for all the silver that they have, supposedly billions of ounces, or over 1 billion ounces of silver, a lot of it on lease. And it should show up as a material part of their reporting, their annual report. And there's nothing, not even a mention of any silver at all. So they're hiding it somewhere. But there was this. In the JPMorgan annual report, the U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency for a reason. And I read this and I almost threw up on myself. While there may be faith involved, the U.S. dollar is the reserve currency of the world for a reason. It's only faith. I'm telling you right now, they know that faith is waning. It is only faith. First, the dollar is supported by the full faith and credit of the United States. That's the largest debtor nation in the world, by the way, the the United States of America. The dollar, which is a liability of the Federal Reserve, i.e. the federal government, that's not true. Although some people say the Federal Reserve has been taken over by the federal government, in digital or currency form, is always supported by an asset. Oh yeah, what is that asset? That asset is generally treasury bonds. Well, treasury bonds, they aren't supported by anything. It's this roundabout bullshit. A treasury bond is only as good as the paper it's written on. Treasury bonds are supported by the full taxing authority of the U.S. government. So they are pledging you, Mr. Taxpayer, against all this money that they're creating. You didn't get a say in it. That's what they're doing to you. Which in turn is supported and paid for by the full power of the U.S. economy, which is a joke, which is only strong, as strong as it kind of is, due to zero interest rates, meaning free money for the banks. They get money for free, and then you have to pay them interest on it. 10 times. Remember, they're fractionally reserved 10 times. I mean, the whole thing made me sick. These assets and liabilities, including the economy, are supported by powerful institutions, the rule of law, and ultimately the full might of the U.S. military. So JPMorgan's saying, if you don't believe us, we are going to bomb you. If you don't believe that the U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency, we are going to bomb you. That's exactly what JPMorgan's saying. They talk their book, remember. They're heavily invested in the U.S. dollar and its continued dominance. The full might of the U.S. military. Wow. Jamie Dimon is pledging to blow up any country that challenges the U.S. world reserve currency. Of course, a central bank can debase a currency. But our central bank, the Federal Reserve, is meant to protect the currency's value. Faith is only a small part of these calculations. Bullshit. It's everything. If you don't think faith is a big part, why the hell are we bombing all these countries? Why did we have to bail out everybody in 2008? Why did we have to bail out Jamie Dimon's company in 2008? Because everybody would run to their bank and say, I want my money. And you'll have It's a Wonderful Life moment. Second, and equally important, the U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency because anyone who legally has a U.S. dollar can move it freely around the world, buy and sell what they want, and invest in the United States. That is not true at all. You can't take a suitcase full of $2 million worth of U.S. dollars and fly anywhere. You can't take it out of the country. That's a lie. Only if you go through their bank and they get their cut. By comparison, the Chinese currency, the renminbi, cannot be freely moved around the world. It can leave China only in limited amounts and can be invested as only the Chinese see fit. Well, that's kind of like the U.S. too. Go try to invest in cryptocurrencies and see what your bank says. It is subject to their laws and regulations. While the Chinese have done a good job building their economy and are slowly moving towards a more transparent society and financial system, they are a long way from having a currency that is fully convertible like the U.S. dollar. As an aside, JPMorgan Chase moves more than $8 trillion a day for more than 52 million payments. Approximately 98% of value is done the actual same day, 78% is done in real time, and 20% is executed the same day. When these dollars are moved, they go through extensive screening for risk and fraud. While systems can always be improved upon, they had to add that because JPMorgan has a $45 billion list of payoffs, regulator payoffs, for all the fraud and crimes that they've committed. While systems can always be improved, this process seems to be safe and efficient. The number one money launderers, the number one criminals when it comes to money is not cryptocurrencies, not even close. It is our lovely banks. It is banks like JPMorgan, Deutsche Bank, HSBC, Citibank, Bank of America. They are the number one money launderers. They run the drugs. You name it, they did it. And they do it in the shadows because their regulator is the Federal Reserve System, which they control. All right, I'm on with SGT report. That will be posted next week on his channel. I'm excited about that. And then I got Jenny Moonstone later today. Tomorrow at 12 noon Pacific time, we're doing a live chat live chat on the road to Ruta tomorrow at 12 noon. We will see you there. Looking forward to that. It's been a while since we did a live chat, and we get some great questions. This is Bix Weir. If you want to go see all the private road stuff, including the latest Penny Kelly interview, which is awesome. I love that interview. And all the Jenny Moonstone stuff. Ken Schwartz, we talk about C60 and vitamin D, very important. And the silver short Wall Street guys, that's another good one. Go check out all the Road to Ruta stuff. Go to roadtoruta.com and sign up. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, it's time to have a little fun with our friends on the comics. This song goes out to that big old gigantic naked short out there. You know who you are. It's kind of lonely at the top, ain't it? I thought I heard the people say, pay me my silver now. Tomorrow's another trading day. But pay me my silver now. Watching the comics prices rise. Pay me my silver now. JPMorgan naked shorts the highs. Pay me my silver now. Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now. CFTC, you better shut it down. Pay me my silver now. There's people rising up in every town. Pay me my silver now. The Gatta boys are in the know. Pay me my silver now. Tinfoil hats at the silver show. Pay me my silver now. Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now. Butler nails you every time you try. Pay me my silver now. The BPS shows how much you lie. Pay me my silver now. The game is done when the silver's gone. Pay me my silver now. Comex metal in the warehouse, none. Pay me my silver now. Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now. The banking boys melt that witch. Pay me my silver now. Deliver those bars and melt that bitch. Pay me my silver now. Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now. 'Cause now is the time to free our land. Pay me my silver now. Silver in my pocket, paper in the can. Pay me my silver now. Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now. Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.